Hello and welcome to the very first Tomatometer reveal show. We got a very exciting countdown for you today. Let the show begin. Hey everyone, I'm Nikki Novak and welcome to the show. Very excited for our inaugural episode because we're talking about one of my favorite shows, The White Lotus, and I'm here with two of my favorite people. We have Rotten Tomatoes correspondent Mark Ellis.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. I feel like the three of us would be great cast members for a White Lotus situation somewhere down the line. Not necessarily from an acting perspective, but just from we all enjoy vacations.
And
fine
murder.
hotels.
Yes, fine hotels.
A little bit of murder in there.
None of that, though. I would just like the location.
And I'm also with Jacqueline Coley. She's our awards editor at Rotten Tomatoes. Welcome. Who between the three of us do you think would be murdered and murdered?
I would definitely be murdered because I don't have the fight in me to figure it out. But I think y'all could figure out
I can talk my way into getting murdered pretty easily. Maybe I'd be able to talk my way out of it. I'll tell you what I'm not doing is solving anything.
Yeah.
I have no idea who done it in a movie, in a TV show. I'm the worst one to ask.
That's why I love this show, because I love trying to figure it out. And I think I'm pretty good at it, and I think I would be the murderer. Because don't you think I seem like I'm not, so I would be?
I could see you getting a few bodies in the basement there.
Nobody is not clocking where you are. You're 5'11". Like, you're not sneaking into anything. It'd be like the blonde goddess that walked across the beach.
As much as I would like to make the rest of this episode now about me, we got some show to talk about. So yes, so this is The White Lotus. This is season 3. We're going to be revealing the Tomatometer score for it. Mike White is the showrunner. He is the writer. He is the director. Anthology series, different cast every season. When we're talking about seasons, Mark, I know you have those stats for us. You love yourself some scores.
Yeah.
What are the scores for season 1 and season 2?
We're getting straight A's, kids. I mean, if White Lotus is in high school, it's probably looking at Ivy League colleges.
Very proud parents.
Season 1 was 90% of the Tomatometer, and you put that against a 76% popcorn meter, so the critics liked it a little better than the audience. Same thing with season 2, except it bumped its average up. It started studying harder. 94% for season 2 against a 75% popcorn meter. And so I think you see like a C average with the fans, but critics love this stuff, and I'm expecting more of that going into season 3.
I'm a little bit shooketh that the audience score isn't higher because I don't know, which season was your favorite?
I actually think season 1 was my favorite, but I'm not surprised about that. It's a very confronting show. It's a show that really takes these archetypes of both rich people, but also working class people, and there's no supremely likable characters, I will go ahead and say, in this show. You're not living a hero's journey for a lot of them, but that's kind of Mike White. I mean, this is the guy that did The Good Girl and also School of Rock, but he's always had this sort of off kilter. He also did that show Enlightened with Laura Dern. Yeah, he's a very different type of writer. Also, former Survivor contestant. I love that fun fact about Mike White.
You know what? And it makes perfect sense that he then did this show, because that is sort of a lesser version of what goes on in this show. And we're going to get into it in a little bit, but I have seen the first 6 episodes of season 3. And it gets dark. He said it gets dark in the season. When he said that, I was like, sure it does. It really gets dark. So this is going to be an interesting Tomatometer reveal. Can you just sort of break down a little bit of sort of we're curating it as we speak. We don't even have the score yet, but we will momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, so from this point, folks like yourself and a few critics and maybe even some folks that they've done these premiere type screenings have seen those episodes, and now they're sort of writing their reviews, maybe go ahead and keying that into their website, so that way when the embargo lifts, they can all be published at the same time, and then our curators here can then grab all of those websites, go to their sort of authors that they're assigned to, and find out what they're saying about television. And I think honestly, for any television writer right now, this is sort of the biggest show that you could be talking about in February. So I anticipate that the reviews will be coming in fairly quickly.
Well, speaking of which, we have Rob standing by. He is our curator of the score. Rob, how are we doing?
Hi guys, we're doing great so far. We are knee deep in reviews. It's a huge haul this morning. The critics are out. So the Tomatometer score today is going to be informed both by reviews that we curate, add from our end, and reviews that are self-submitted directly by the critics themselves. And the score will be ready to reveal once we've added everything that is addable from our end. So far, the tenor of the reviews is that This season's main theme is spirituality. It's apparently the darkest season yet, and we should have a score pretty soon.
I feel like that sort of is how I felt watching the first 6 episodes, except Parker Posey. What is everybody talking about? To me, we've already written her name in the Emmy.
Oh,
like,
really?
She is such a standout. And in terms of comedic performances, she is like next level. She is the Jennifer Coolidge of this season.
Yeah, it is a very specific type of humor, but it's also one of those shows that is kind of like a little bit of a fantastical car crash because you can't really look away. And just when you think things are going to somewhat normalize, Mike White just writes it even crazier. One of the things I think is interesting about this is this show was born of the pandemic. The head of HBO was like, hey, I need you to write a show where it's all in one location because of COVID and we're like worried about travel. And Mike White was like, that sounds terrible. He's like, I'd rather go to a lovely island with my friends. And so he really wanted to write this as an opportunity to really explore the world. And with it being in Thailand, I think it going dark actually really fits because yes, there's a lot of spiritualities there. There's all these temples. There's this huge, rich culture. But there's also this like really seedy underbelly of debauchery that is also very prevalent. And those two things are often overlap. So I think this is like the perfect location for the season.
Jacqueline, debauchery, you are prophetic because that is exactly
I mean, I've been to Thailand.
Yeah.
I've been there.
That's what I'm hearing. And this is what I feel like this score is going to hinge on for season 3 as we open up, is how critics responded to the show getting even darker than it has.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the critics' consensus in the first season, describes it as a twisty drama.
Yeah.
And so if you take a twisty drama and you go even more dark and you go even more sort of seedy underbelly of things, that is what's going to determine whether critics responded to this more favorably or whether they're like, we're not sure where you're going with this yet.
Yeah, and I feel like of all the seasons, this one definitely leans most into the location. So it really infuses it. You know how there's certain series and certain films where the location is a character? It's never felt more than in this season. And it's just like there's monkeys everywhere in the resort that they shot at. The thing that was interesting is like apparently Mike White wanted to originally shoot this in Japan. And for whatever reason, it was going to be easier to shoot in Thailand. So he went there for a location scout and got really sick and hospitalized. He said the whole season came to him in a fever dream as he was probably medicated and whatever was happening. And you really feel that watching it. I'm like, was he hallucinating when he wrote this season? Because there is going to be people talking. Like this is the season that people are going to be like, like it's going to be, no, I don't want to say divisive, but almost a little bit like, I don't know if I can handle what is happening right now.
That is next level work ethic. If you're having a fever dream and you're still writing the season of a TV show, like I've had a few of those episodes in my life and I'm not going anywhere near work when that's happening. Like, bravo, Mike White.
Anybody that's sort of a standout to you that you're looking forward to seeing in season 3?
I am so excited. I mean, you see the cast list and it's like, okay, Walton Goggins, who everybody loves from Fallout, and a bunch of other great things. Jason Isaacs, who relishes playing a villainous character, but Carrie Coon is the one I'm most excited to check out, and that is because she's very talented, but I also love the Gilded Age. Like, I am a sucker for the Gilded Age. I can't wait for that show to come back. I want to reveal that Tomatometer.
You're the last person.
By the way, I knew this about him because he like let me know. Because I tried to get you in Downton Abbey and you wouldn't do Downton Abbey, but Gilded Age hit you.
Gilded Age hit me and I needed it. We were between like sports seasons for me and I was probably wallowing in my own self-pity that my team didn't make the playoffs, and then I'm like, what do I do to get my mind? The Gilded Age, and it completely absorbed me, and I love the way that Carrie Coon portrays that character, so anything she's doing from now on, you got my viewership.
I just want to say Natasha Rothwell, though, who also gets to come back from this one. Folks didn't see her in How to Die Alone. That's another one. I just think she's great in everything, not just Insecure, so I was happy to see her back.
We're talking about all these legends, but we have some newcomers. Lisa from Blackpink is making her acting debut. She's from Thailand. She's going to get all of her fans watching this season, so there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it. Oh. All right, I think that means
that's the sound.
We're ready for the Tomatometer reveal. Rob, what do you have for us?
Hi guys, thank you for waiting. So we finally have a live Tomatometer score. The reviews have been aggregated and the score is 94% with 35 reviews.
Ooh, that's right in line.
Still a proud parent of an honor roll student.
I am so proud. I do love this show so much.
I'm happy for Mike White. I mean, he seems a person that's shocked by anybody liking his stuff because it's so specific and weird. So to hear critics and hopefully audiences will be about it when they get a chance to see it this weekend it's kind of great.
Yeah, and he does sort of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. There is an element of that, but he does take some big swings. So I'm happy that I've seen, by the way, the first 4 episodes of this 4 times each. That's how much I love this season.
Wow.
Hearing this, and really, if it hinges on season 3's Tomatometer, what this tells me is that you can pull off that trick once with a different ensemble cast and still have it be a hit with critics with season 2, right?
Yeah.
The fact that this thing is debuting as high as it is, that's really impressive to me that this show could have legs for a while.
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
kickstarting the careers of a lot of folks that have been involved in it. I mean, Fred Heckinger, this was kind of the first thing people saw him in. You see somebody like Theo James have a sort of resurgence after he's involved with it. Obviously, Jennifer Coolidge. But yeah, I think any actor that sort of gets involved in it, Megan Fahey, she really had a moment after that. So I think now there's the White Lotus effect with people in it.
Okay, so Rob, I have one more question for you. We're at 94 now, but can the score change over time? Because these reviews are just coming in.
Yes, the Tomatometer score is kind of like a living organism, so it could be quite different by the end of the day. I mean, I think it will stay in this high range overall. The overall tenor of the reviews for this season are quite strong. The main takeaway is that it's a very balanced ensemble. There's not quite a standout MVP, although Jason Isaacs has the most dramatic role. The season's a bit slower to start. Mike White, he's gained quite a bit of cachet with the audience, so he's gonna trust that you have the patience to watch him assemble all the plot lines. To give an example of some context under the hood of the score, we have some pull quotes from some of the reviews. Allison Herman of Variety says, "Season 3 is the least immediately gripping entry in this running vacation diary to date. But when the story coalesces and kicks into gear somewhere around its halfway point, it's as wild and unpredictable as any of the powder kegs White has combusted." So the main takeaway from these reviews is that, people will have their own favorite seasons. Some people prefer season 1, season 2, and for some people this might be their least preferred so far. But this proves that The White Lotus is a very durable and enduring television show where the format's flexible enough that Mike White can tell a lot of different stories about class, privilege, and still have interesting new things to say.
Real quick before we go, season 4, where are we all going? Where do you want them to go?
Ooh.
Switch it up. Go like Toledo or something like that. Just like, maybe we'll go on like a trip to White Castle and that's like the most of the events. Like, take a break from all this budget you're spending on these luxurious resorts and spacious destinations. Where do you want to go, Jacqueline?
I'm also going to go with one that's a little bit more realistic. No offense to Toledo, but I'm thinking like New Zealand maybe. You know what I mean? I think New Zealand. Or we could get really colonial with it and go to Morocco.
Oh, that's a good one. I was going to say Australia. That'd be fun.
Australia, New Zealand.
New Zealand, Australia.
Can hop around. But it does, look, if this thing is doing this well with critics in season 3, the sky's the limit. And if you're Mike White, I hate to encourage this, maybe more fever dreams. Maybe that's what you need to keep cranking out more quality seasons of television because people are eating it up.
Keep getting sick, Mike White. That is the message to you from the show here today. Thanks everybody for watching our very first episode.
Hey,
Yay,
look
for
at
us.
us. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you all for watching this first episode. Mike White, message to you. I'm available to be an extra on your show for season 4. Anywhere you want to go, I am there. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a comment below. Let us know what you're most excited for, who you're most excited to see, which cast member, and who do you think gets murdered. Don't forget to watch The White Lotus season 3 on the 16th. That's this Sunday. And check out all of the action and the intrigue. Thank you all again for watching, and we'll see you next time.